This is my rant on why reforms are difficult in India. I'm not sure if you have been following the news about what is happening in France. There are huge, wide-scale protests across France because the government of France has decided to increase the retirement age from 62 to 64, and this means this will affect from when people can start having access to their retirement funds or whatever support the government gives. Obviously, people are not happy about it, and there are huge scale protests, violent. At some places, police have to use water cannons to control the crowds, and the same shebang that we get in the subcontinent. But one thing to notice is that, and mind you, these reforms, these were not passed by the French Parliament or the French equivalent of Parliament. They tried to, but at the end, the president has to sign the equivalent of executive order to implement these reforms, and people are not happy. The argument that the French government has given is that this is important to make sure that the pension funds or the pension system is in a good financial health, and that is why they have to do it. If they don't do it now, then there will be a bigger problem later on. Now, if you have seen any international media organization, you will not find anybody calling President Macron fascist, or calling the French government fascist, or questioning his intention, or questioning the state of democracy in France, vagara vagara. And God forbid if you find any celebrity talking about, any celebrity from a third country talking about the reforms in France. And contrast this with India. The government of India tried to bring agricultural reforms a couple of years ago, and that was met with heavy resistance by people. And in democracy, people have right to protest. There is no question about it. These reforms, mind you, in India, yes, I concede the point that they were not debated long enough in the parliament, but they were passed in the parliament through the vote of people who were elected in parliament by the people of India. It was not an executive order signed, and there's a huge difference. Second, these reforms, they have been recommended by various committees that have looked into agricultural economy and how it works in India. The last reforms were brought during when we had Green Revolution in India, and they had their points. The committee led by I'm unable to recall his name, Professor Gulati. I would encourage you to look up him and his work. But these were recommendations made by a panel of experts of the government, and these recommendations have been made to the previous governments as well. And the reforms were necessary if India's agricultural economy were to grow. And what news did we get? What news did we hear from the media? Especially Western media. Oh, the Modi government is fascist, India is losing its democracy, implementing reforms, not asking people what they want, crushing the protest. At some point, you have people who have absolutely no clue about what is happening. Like Monty Panesar, the ex-England cricketer, Rihanna of all people. I mean, what does Rihanna has to do with a socio-economic problem across, like in a country where she probably have never even been? I mean, she has a right to opinion, but it has to be an informed opinion. So this puts a lot of pressure on the government. Unfortunately, the government of India has to back down. People, the Indian diaspora, of course not all of it, like, a lot of us, people come up with stupid slogans like no farmer, no food. Duh. I mean, yes, no farmer, no food, and that is exactly why the reforms are required. But the government had so much pressure that they had to withdraw. Reforms are not easy, but that's why you elect your leader, hoping that they will do these unpopular things. I just wanted to contrast the reforms in two countries and how the media covers it, how the world perceives it. and share my rant with you. Hopefully, in future, the government of India would be more decisive in bringing the reforms that are required for India to grow even faster, get even bigger. Thank you.